did you see the episode of the Clone Wars?
Yeah, man, that was bananas. Like, potentially my favorite episode of the entire show.
Oh, you're a fan?
Big fan. Not gonna lie. If I could, I'd rather be a clone from the Clone Wars. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this red armor's cool, but I don't want to live this life.
Yeah, me too.
All I can say is wow to the latest episode of the Clone Wars. Old friends not forgotten hit me in all the right ways. We not only had an homage to the classic Lucasfilm opening, but even the music itself changed to the traditional fanfare and not the regular Clone Wars fanfare. I literally had chills from the get-go of this episode, and that's something that hasn't happened in a while regarding Star Wars for me, so yes, I'm an excited AT-AT at the moment. If Disney ended up producing a new animated show that stayed at this caliber, I legitimately think it would be a show that all ages could enjoy, just like The Mandalorian. While I have been a fan of Season 7 overall, I think something this action-packed and high caliber was necessary after the previous few episodes, which focused on character building and rounding out Ahsoka's final arc in this season. And don't get me wrong, I think Ahsoka's walkabout was great, and I thought Trace and Rafa were just fine, but man, Part 1 of the Siege of Mandalore was absolutely insane. And even more interesting is thinking about how close this all is to the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. So without going through this episode like a Wikipedia page, I wanted to quickly point out why this episode is my favorite one so far for Season 7. And potentially all of Clone Wars. And yes, I know, that's an aggressive stance to take. The big thing for me was Ahsoka and Anakin's reunion. We all knew it was coming, and when Anakin first sees Ahsoka on the hologram, you can tell that his mind is going a million miles an hour. He can barely talk or think. And truth be told, afterwards, I was surprised by the cold shoulder Anakin got from Ahsoka, until the two were allowed to actually have a moment together, alone. But to be honest, the way Ahsoka was acting initially and all that stuff with Bo-Katan makes sense, because this friendly catch-up is just a distraction. Time is of the essence. It was great to see Ahsoka and Anakin having their final exchange in this episode, and to see that their friendship had never died. And I'm not gonna lie, when presenting Ahsoka with her cavalry, all the clones again, as well as promoting Rex to commander, giving her new lightsabers, I choked up at each one of these moments a little bit. It's a lot of big things in a little amount of time, but I feel like it was all very much earned. Now beyond that, I love that this episode really focuses on the issues of the Jedi Order, just like the previous few episodes. Ahsoka has some words with Obi-Wan because the Jedi are again about to leave Bo-Katan and the Mandalorians without any help and then go help the Chancellor. And reminder, all of this is leading towards the opening confrontation from Revenge of the Sith. Even though the Republic aiding Mandalore would break a ton of treaties, etc., it's the right thing to do. And the problem is, the Jedi do what's most politically important versus what's most important as a Jedi. And hopefully that makes sense. It's either go help Palpatine or help Mandalore. And Ahsoka can't stand to see people suffer because of the Jedi's political choices. And it's ironic because all of the Jedi are about to experience Order 66 very soon. And honestly, it makes me wonder if Obi-Wan Kenobi ever reflected on Ahsoka's words to him in this final interaction. And maybe this is something that'll be explored further down the line in some live action series. But because of this situation, with needing to go aid Chancellor Palpatine, Anakin ends up promoting Rex, and then decides that Ahsoka can be an advisor to Rex to aid in the battle for Mandalore. And that seems to work as a sufficient proxy to having a Jedi representative. Now, another thing I really loved about this episode was how it talked about loyalty. And when Ahsoka walks around the barracks, she is saluted by former comrades, which initially makes her uncomfortable. But Anakin reminds her that it's because of who she is and what she has done for each of them that has earned their respect. The clones all remember everything Ahsoka has done for them regardless of whether she is with the Order or not, and I think it's really touching. And the last thing that I think this episode was fantastic at delivering as compared to the rest of this season was presenting us with an actual compelling storyline in 24 minutes, something to hold on to. It leaves us wanting more. A lot is going on, and truth be told, I think it feels like a movie with how things unfold. We got the big battle in the beginning, and then the transmission from an old ally, and then a mission that could damage the Republic's existing agreements. There's a conflict of who should go, who should represent the Jedi, and then a former Jedi leading a clone army ends up going aiding Mandalorians, and rather than it being Kenobi going to help Mandalore because of his feelings for the Duchess, it ends up being Ahsoka. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I love that it ends up all being a trap because Darth Maul wanted to trap Kenobi. So I never grade episodes, but if I had to, I'd give this episode a 10. Everything I wanted to feel was felt, and hey, it only took about 9 episodes, but then again, I don't expect that much from the Clone Wars because I'm not exactly the target audience. I'm just happy that this episode happened to excite me in the way that it did. It was much needed after these past few months post The Rise of Skywalker. I feel like Star Wars has been in a little bit of a lull. So that does it for today. If you haven't watched episode 9 of season 7, stop what you are doing right now and watch it. It's that good. And if you are sour over the previous few episodes, then I think this is the episode for you. May the Force be with you, and AT-AT is signing off.